Previously on Katawa Shoujo.
Do you want to come with me on a trip to my house? My mom's making dinner, and I thought you might want to join us.
Are you going to visit your father this year?
But why? Why can't you just trust me? We've been over this already, Hisao. I've got to deal with this stuff on my own.
I won't accept that. You need my help. You just won't take it. My wording seems to have been a little off.
Need? I need your help? Well, it's a good thing we met, isn't it? Because otherwise, I guess I'd just be a broken human being, wouldn't I? No, it's a damn good thing that Hisao came along to save the day, isn't it? Because God knows I can't save myself, can I? I'm just a pure emotional damaged girl with no legs, right?
Emmy, you know I don't think that.
Really? Because if you thought differently, then I don't think you'd be here saying I need your help. I've gotten pretty far in life as a normal human being without you.
So what? Nothing we've shared was important? I'm just a guy who hangs out with you?
You're my boyfriend, Hisao, not my savior.
What? You won't even answer that question? Fine. Keep your secrets. They can lie in the grave as far as I'm concerned.
Get out of my house, Hisao!
The sudden change in her tone snaps me out of my self-righteous anger and makes me realize, with a dawning horror, what I've just said. What's up, people? We are back with more of Katawa Shoujo. I don't even know, man. Did we mess things up with Emmy now? Like, is it over? Did we fuck up for the too manyth time right now? Because I feel like from the events of, like, I don't know, the past 3 videos or something, it's like we fucked it up, then we somehow managed to make it back up, and then we fucked it up again, and then was like, okay, maybe we didn't fuck it up after all, and then we fucked it up even harder this time. So I don't know if we're gonna get another chance or whatever, but Emmy seemed really mad, and she actually just kicked us out of her house. So I hope this is not a bad ending or whatever, because that would break my heart. Please leave my heart whole, Emmy. The morning alarm sounds, and I roll over, switching it off. My eyes open blearily to stare at the ceiling. What am I going to do? Do I get out of bed? Go down to the track? And pretend that nothing happened? Will Emmy even show up? After last evening's events, I doubt it. Even supposing that she did, what would I do then? Get over this fight just to dance the same routine the next time something's bothering her? I know that I spoke hastily last evening, especially trying to use her father as leverage. But was anything I said really off the mark? She won't let me in. Ever. And she'll be forced to suffer alone. Nothing I do, nothing I say is going to change that. She won't change. And she's already decided to keep me at arm's length. Can I really bring myself to go down there and see her, knowing that I'm never going to get past where I am now? No. I decide I really can't. Not today. I roll over and go back to sleep. Uh-oh, is this where we fuck things up even harder? She probably won't be there anyway. Emmy, please knock on my door. No! A similar mental conversation repeats itself when it comes time to go to lunch, and I eat in a cafeteria, alone. I don't want to see her. The very thought makes me feel ill. Oh my god. That night, I go for a run. I'm solo for the first time since Emmy got sick after the track meet. Skip seeing the nurse, just in case he asked about Emmy. I don't want to talk about her either. This is not good. The next day, I do the same thing. Alarm off. Stay in bed, eat alone, and run alone. To fill the time that I would usually be spending with Emmy, I start reading more. It works surprisingly well, until I find myself ducking into a restroom because I see her walking down a hall in between classes. If she noticed me, she didn't show it, even though I don't suppose she ever shows anything. Certainly not to the girls from her class I see talking cheerfully to her, or the other fellow track members. Especially not to me. Alarm off, stay in bed. Muto and I have a lengthy talk about the possibility that string theory is plausible. I don't buy it myself. More than 4 dimensions I can buy, but a bunch of vibrating strings at the subatomic level? That's asking a bit much. Looks like I'm not the only one who thinks this way too. Apparently it's not really as strong a theory as it once was. Muto says that just because nobody has found the right way of looking at the data yet. Blah blah blah, come on, what is going to happen? Eat alone. The rooftop is deserted today. I briefly wonder where Emmy and Rin are, but shrug off the question. The important thing is that they aren't here, so I won't have to talk to them. This is interesting, right? If he's trying to avoid Emmy so much, why would he go to a place where he knows that they would probably be here? Like, sure, they aren't here at the moment, but if it's lunchtime, you can bet your butt that Emmy and Rin are probably up on the rooftop. So why would he even come here? If you're going to avoid a person, you're going to be not going to the places where they're most likely to be at. So it's somehow I feel like deep down he actually just wants to. I don't know. It's just awkward, right? If you sort of had a fight and whatever, part of you wants to make it up, part of you is like scared of the confrontation afterwards. So probably like deep inside he actually does want to just go to her, but he doesn't want to admit it to himself or something. I don't know. Since I have nobody to talk to, I bring a book with me to read. The weather's nice, if getting a little hot. Hopefully it'll be cooler in the evening. A cool breeze seems to back up my theory. Run alone. It is, in fact, cooler at the track. No sign of Emmy, which is exactly the sort of thing I'm going for. I stretch out and start on my usual run, trying hard to ignore the lack of a running partner in front of me. Finding my thoughts drifting damnably to that girlish laugh, incorrigible grin, those wide and friendly eyes, her incredibly toned body. I increase the pace to clear my head, chew up the distance between me and the turns, find a speed that makes me think only of my legs and how much they burn. I glance at my watch as I round the final turn, noting that my time's gotten faster. My heart seems a little squirrely tonight, so I give myself an extra few cooldown laps, just to be safe. No reason to bring this to the nurse's attention. I'll be fine. A rather Emmy-ish thought to have, I'll admit. I have to hope that eventually I'll stop thinking about her so much. I finish another book before going to bed that night. I'll have to stop by the library tomorrow. Oh my god, these couple of days boring without Emmy. It's boring. Oh my god, Emmy, please come back into our lives. We're nothing without you. I don't know why I keep the early alarm on anymore, but it wakes me up the next morning just the same. I still turn it off and go back to sleep. Misha! Oh my god. I've missed you, Misha. Like, we need to hold on to something else now in our life. Apparently Emmy is not... I don't know, is Emmy not an option anymore? I don't know, please Emmy. Even though, sure, like, you know, when you're like broken up with a girl, like, sure, you'll appreciate attention from another girl shortly after, but it's only that. It's just a distraction. It's just to keep your mind off of the heartbreak that you're currently feeling, but it actually doesn't do that much. It's like, oh my god, Emmy, come back, please. That afternoon, as I get ready to head to the cafeteria for another solo lunch, I've got a new book about a couple of con men in ancient Persia that I'm pretty excited about reading. I am suddenly cornered by Misha, and... Huh? I guess just Misha. What? Misha and Shizune are not together? What's going on?
Off to eat alone again, Hee-chan? We've noticed, you know.
We?
Uh-huh. Shi-chan and I noticed that you've been spending more time alone. She wanted me to find out why, so I told her I'd ask you.
I'm surprised she didn't ask me herself.
She would have, but she wanted to get a head start on some paperwork. There's a lot of it, since we're coming up on the end of the term, you know.
Why the sudden interest in my well-being, anyway?
Shi-chan said, it is the duty of the student council to keep track of the emotional health of its students. To allow a constituent to spiral into depression unchecked would be an unforgivable failure in the council's duties.
Well, that's easy then. I'm not depressed.
But you're eating alone, and nobody's seen you with Emmy together at all. Something happened, didn't it, Hee-chan?
Misha's voice takes on a slightly sterner tone, though somehow she keeps the familiar lilt at the end of her sentences. I purse my lips, uncertain about how to respond. Oh my god. Do we open up our heart or what? Do we just pour out our feelings into Misha? Or are we going to downplay the issue? Oh my god. This is a tough choice, actually. Well, okay, what is the benefits of letting Misha know? I guess we'll have someone to talk about the feelings, and perhaps we'll get a different perspective of things. If we downplay the issue, then we're basically just saying, okay, we're going to deal with the issue alone, or we're just, or we're going to do what we're trying to do right now, which is just move on from the entire issue, I guess. Just move on. Emmy is in the past, and then I don't know what will happen then, but it's either one of those, I feel. Whereas I don't know, I feel like Misha might, if we let her know the situation or the problem or whatever, it's sometimes really, really good to just have a person from the outside give a fresh perspective on things, and that might help in certain situations as well. So I feel like it's not that bad to have someone to talk about your problems with, so yeah, I'm gonna give in and let Misha know. Well, I suppose someone else knowing about my problem can't hurt. Heck, maybe Misha can even offer some advice. We had a fight at her house. I keep trying to get close to her, and she won't let me get close. And I said something stupid, and she threw me out.
Have you talked to her since then?
Misha looks genuinely concerned. I'm surprised, as I'd almost expect her to drop the subject after finding out what the trouble was. Even more surprising is how quickly I find myself spilling my guts to her. No, I haven't. I just can't bring myself to face her after that. I made a complete fool of myself, and she probably hates me now anyway, especially since I haven't seen her since then.
You're pretty slow, Hee-chan.
This doesn't sound like advice. Huh? Misha places her hands on her hips and launches into a speech that would sound more plausible coming from Shizune.
The solution to your problem is simple. You have to go and apologize to her. Leaving things like this will just make things worse. You can't know that she hates you now unless she tells you. Otherwise, there's no evidence that what you fear is true. And if you really care about her, shouldn't you be worried about how she's taking all this?
With a sudden start, I realized that she's right. I've kept waking up to an early alarm because part of me wants to meet Emmy at the track for our runs. See, I told you. It wasn't just... See, it was both him keeping the alarm on, him going to the rooftop. I've kept running because I know that Emmy would worry about me if I didn't stay healthy. When I went on the roof yesterday, I was half hoping that she would be up there, and felt disappointed when she wasn't. I'm an idiot.
Kinda, He-chan. So, go and apologize to her as soon as you can, okay?
I opened my mouth to say that I'll do it right away, but the lunch bell rings, and I realize that I still have afternoon classes to attend to. First thing after class is over, I'll go see her. I promise. And, thanks for the advice, I guess. Misha beams at me, as if I were a child that had just learned his ABCs.
Good. I'll let Shi-chan know that you're okay then.
Yeah. You do that. With a wave, and completely disregarding the fact that people are starting to trickle back into the classroom as opposed to out of it, Misha departs from the classroom. I suppose she and Shizune have student council business again. Oh my god, come on, we can do this. We can make it up. While the afternoon wears on, I find myself impatient for the lessons to end. I need to see Emmy now. I have to try to set things right. Even if Emmy hates me now, I have to at least apologize. I owe her that much. Should I meet her in her room? No. I decide it would delay things too much. If I know Emmy, I can find her at the track. Still, I have no idea what I'm going to say when I get there. But I take comfort in knowing that Emmy probably wouldn't have a plan for something like this either. Play it by ear. Stop being nervous and just get to the track. Figure the rest out when I get there. The track looms ahead, and another jolt of nerves hits me in the gut. I resist the urge to turn and walk away, and instead note with satisfaction that I was right, and Emmy is still running. I don't make myself immediately known. I find a seat in the bleachers and watch her run instead, thinking back to earlier meetings. After a few trips around the track, Emmy notices me and skids to a halt, an expression of surprise that slides easily into one of anger.
What are you doing here?
Not quite the response I'd hoped for, but at this point, I don't have much of a choice. I wanted to apologize for what I said the other day.
The other day?
She laughs, a curt exclamation of disbelief.
It's been almost a week, Hisao.
Yeah, well, better late than never, right? Emmy crosses her arms and stares at me coolly, as if sizing me up. Finally, she nods.
I suppose you're right. Water under the bridge then. I forgive you. Is that all?
Her almost impatient question catches me off guard that she's already halfway down the track before I think to shout after her, "No! Wait!" She doesn't seem to have heard me, or she doesn't want to hear me, and so I give chase, disregarding completely the fact that I'm not dressed for it. Oh yeah, run after her. We gotta run after the love of our life. My feet hurt, and my shirt collar feels like a noose around my neck, but I still chase after her, because if I don't, I'll lose my chance. Emmy hasn't started to really accelerate yet, which is probably the only reason why I'm able to catch up to her, to reach out and tap on the shoulder, just before my legs are giving up running in dress shoes and stumble to a stop. Surprisingly, fortunately, all that running seems to have paid off. I'm short of breath, yes, but at least my heart isn't actively trying to force its way out of my ribcage. My touch on her shoulder has stopped Emmy, and while there is a flash of concern when she sees me catching my breath, it seems that she has a good idea of what I'm capable of too. This concern is short-lived.
What?
She seems so irritated by my being still there that I almost lose my nerve. I've lost my nerve enough. I need to explain myself. Why I can't just let the matter rest. Emmy folds her arms and bounces one blade on the ground in an approximation of tapping her foot impatiently. Angry as she is, and as nervous as I am, she still looks beautiful.
Okay, Hisao, explain.
The thing is, I know that you're really sensitive about the accident, and about your dad. I can see Emmy's face twitch at the mention of the two things that have been steadily driving us apart, or at least make me feel like we're being driven apart. But that's why I want to know about them, I think. Because I see how much they hurt you, and I want to be there to comfort you. It makes me miserable, seeing you sleepless and depressed. And don't pretend that you aren't, because I know, okay? I just remember that night when you fell asleep with me and had that nightmare. And that you were happy to have me there when you woke up. I want to be able to be there for you, like that, whenever you need me to be. The stern face cracks slightly. Emmy interrupts before I can continue further.
Just stop right there. We can't see each other anymore, okay?
She's rushing now, looking everywhere but at me. I'm surprised she doesn't bolt. She knows I can't catch her.
We're not right for one another.
That's not true, and you know it.
No, it's true. You're too...
I know that I've been pushy about knowing your past. If you can't tell me it, then at least let me be there even if I don't know the reason. It's okay. I promise. I won't ask you why you need comfort. I'll just give it freely. Emmy's shaking her head, and tears seems to be threatening the corners of her eyes.
Stop saying that!
Why? Because you're afraid you'll take me up on it?
I'm not afraid.
I can't keep the chiding tone from my voice as I respond. Yes, you are. You told me yourself, remember? And that's okay. Really, it is. However, it seems to me that someone who'd managed to come out of that wreck and still be as energetic and cheerful as you are would be determined enough to face that fear.
Determination? What do you know about determination?
I know that there's a girl so determined to take care of a total stranger that she'd steal his food at a festival. I know that there's a girl so determined to help me with my own problems that she'd draw up a complete dietary and exercise plan, and that she'd not only draw up the plans, but she'd follow them with me, even when she couldn't run. Determined enough to keep me at arm's length, that she'd put herself through emotional pain if she thought it was the right thing to do. Although, there's one thing that this determined girl didn't quite plan for, which was that I might feel the same kind of determination to keep her from being hurt. I fell in love with you, and I refuse to let that be thrown away because you're afraid of losing me. What little control Emmy still has at this point cracks, and I find myself suddenly enveloped by her embrace as she cries.
Why are you doing this? Why can't you just leave me alone?
I hold her close and plant a kiss on the top of her head. I'm sorry, Emmy. You helped me when I first arrived, so now I have to help you. It's only fair.
You're utterly hopeless. Did you know that?
She hiccups and trembles a little. Funny, I could say the same about you.
Can you do something for me, Hisao?
Anything.
Can you go now?
It feels like she just shoved a knife through my chest. Go?
I need to think, okay? I can't just tell you everything yet. I'm still scared, and when you're around, I can't think clearly. But do me another favor.
What's that?
Show up for a morning run tomorrow?
I smile, feeling better than I have all week. Of course! I wouldn't miss it for the world. Emmy steps back slowly, almost reluctantly. She sniffles a little and then grins at me, a real smile that lights up the track, overpowering the fading evening's light.
See you tomorrow, Hisao.
Okay. She darts forward suddenly, planting a soft kiss on my lips, and then steps back shyly. Spinning on her back foot, she takes off running again, and I know that our conversation's at an end. My lips tingle with the warmth of that brief kiss and the memories of other, longer kisses. I walk back to my room with a spring in my step. Tomorrow, when my alarm goes off, I'll get up. Holy freaking crap. That was such a beautiful moment. He could have given up at any time to say okay, this is too much for me, but he is so right in almost everything that he said, right? Just the sheer determination that she had for us, Hisao, at the beginning, and then a person like that deserves the same determination from a person that cares about her as well, right? So it would be, I feel almost unfair of us to not even, if we didn't do what we just did, basically fight for her or be as determined as she would be about this if she were in our shoes, or just typical Emmy determination, even if it's about running or whatever. It's an important thing to her, and if something is important to you, it's worth fighting for, and it's worth giving all that you have into it to try and make it better or to make it work. Even if it's not going right at that moment, then it's still something that's worth fighting for and worth pouring everything into it. I mean, sure, sometimes you need to learn when to walk away, but I feel like it was especially just Misha, right? Misha gave not only great advice, but just a different and fresh perspective on things, and that usually, when you're sort of caught up in this one particular mindset or something, that really changes a lot and makes you look at things differently as well. And that's what I feel opened Hisao's eyes. And because usually when you're hurt or whatever, when you're in pain, or even when you're I don't know, when you're too much of something, right? It's as strange as it may sound, too much of something might not always be that good, because you're just solely caught up in that feeling or that moment or whatever. And I feel we were just being too sad, too heartbroken, and that only made us see things through that lens of sadness or whatever, if you know what I mean. And then it's hard to see the brighter side of things as well, right? Or to see the correct side of things, the correct actions that we have to take to try and do what we wanted to do. Because subconsciously, right, if we really didn't want to have anything to do with Emmy and just put everything aside, okay, well, she basically told me to get out, we were fighting, guess we're broken up, it's time for me to move on, then we wouldn't have kept our alarm on in the morning the entire week. We wouldn't have gone to familiar places that we think Emmy would be, and we wouldn't even go running at all, because running is the thing that she did for, or that she made us do, right? Sure, it's something that we enjoyed ourselves as well, but a huge part of it was the fact that it was with Emmy. And then if you're trying to move on from that, from Emmy, if we were trying to do that, then you would not do the things that you would remind her of her, or remind us of her. And running is definitely one of those things, right? I don't think, I would imagine for it to be quite hard if it's like, yeah, you go running to get your mind off of things, but if you're like having trouble with Emmy, I don't think it's gonna be that easy to keep your mind off of Emmy while you're running, because that's the thing that you incorporate immediately with Emmy, right? That's like her thing. So subconsciously he wanted this to happen, and we just needed that little push, that fresh perspective from Misha, and bam, just like that. Hopefully I can understand that she needs some time to think about it, because it's a huge step for her, probably opening up about her, not just her past, but just her fears, her tragedies, her everything that she's kept bottled up and thought that she had to deal with alone for so long. For her to that's not something that's just going to be pouring out of her the moment we said it, right? So we need to give her some time, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen in the next video. So holy freaking crap, dang. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. Man, this route turned out to be so emotional. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.